This is high school basketball on FM 95.3 WKLM.
This girls' high school basketball preview is being brought to you by MRV Siding Supply. I'm Brandon Benter, and although the season last year ended a bit early for some teams, and this year is opening up to much more uncertainty than years past, the good news is there will be girls and boys basketball for the high school rankings for the year of 2020 and 2021, and we're planning to bring you quite a bit of that here on WKLM. Speaking of the girls' side of basketball, for West Holmes, they finished a very successful season, 17-5 last year, ended up tied second in the OCC by the end of their season, and they have a lot of their players coming back this year. And for Highland, similar situation, but a little bit better as well, as they had a 21-1 season, ended up being finished number one ranked in the AP by the final poll, and they would actually have their season come to a close due to the pandemic, as they made it all the way to that semifinal game for the state before the season was officially shut down. Both teams bring back a bulk of their rosters for this year and are very eager to get things underway. Let's take a time to go and talk to the team at West Holmes, where Matt Croy is standing by with Coach Lindsey Snyder.
Brandon, thank you. And alongside Lindsey Snyder right now. And Lindsey, a terrific season last year. Most wins for your team since that 2016-17 season, going 17-5 during the regular season. Tied with Worcester, of course, in the OCC standings for second place last year. Kind of reflecting blackout last year. What allowed your team to have so much success?
I think, just having kids that were experienced, had some experience last year, knew what we were trying to do. Those juniors that are now seniors, our juniors last year, had been with us since their freshman year and just had some experience, and we've developed a winning culture and what it means to win games consistently night after night.
No question about that. And could you look at this year? Obviously, things so much different here for everybody. COVID-19 certainly has created problems for all the teams, everybody around the area. For you, what kind of problems, or I guess challenges has that presented to your team, I guess? And has it allowed your team, as well as the coaches, to have even more of appreciation for basketball, knowing what's going on?
Yeah, obviously, we didn't do a lot of things this summer. Finally, we were able to, get in the gym here and do some individual workouts and stuff. But not having that summer league kind of was the first thing that's like, this was something we couldn't do. And we had kids that have put in a lot of time in the weight room, getting shots up on their own on this time off. And so, we're just thankful that we can come back, and we've played a game and we've practiced for a little over a month now, and just appreciative of the fact that we can do that and what we've been able to do so far. So obviously there's stipulations that we have to follow, and it adds a little bit more to our, what we have to do every day. But if that's what it takes to be able to play basketball, then we're going to do that.
No doubt. And with all that said, just one senior on the roster, of course, last year. So a lot of key players returning for this year. Can you kind of go through some of the names we'll be hearing and seeing a lot about this year? They'll be kind of leading the way for West Holmes.
Yeah, so we have 4 seniors. Katie Sprang was our leading scorer last year. Look for her to score in the double digits every night. Alicia Alexander was our leading rebounder last year. This year we have a couple other post players that have grabbed some more rebounds, but Alicia continues to rebound and to take charges and to just be that hustle kid that doesn't always show up in the stats, but you need her on the floor. And then Katrina Rollins is going to be our point guard, along with Kinsey Patterson. She's a junior. And then Hannah Rohr is our, defender. And last year she had a couple games where she hit some big shots and had some big nights for us offensively, but consistently Hannah's a kid that we want pressuring the ball at all times. And then our juniors, we have Melanie Fair, which she had a great game up at Minerva. She can score, and I think she's developing some confidence that she can score, and she can rebound for us. Kinsey Patterson, like I talked about, she was our second leading scorer last year. And then Claire Reynolds, she's kind of stepping up into that junior role, whereas a sophomore last year, she was a role player and did what she needed to do. But I've been really impressed with Claire in the preseason and the first game of kind of taking that leadership role on, of not necessarily vocal leader, but being an example and doing what she's supposed to do. And then sophomore-wise, we have Ella McMillan, who last year was a freshman, at the end of the year kind of played some big minutes for us. And then we added Mia Halverson. She's a post player, so it's nice to have a true 5 that we can look to defend a little bit, and Katie and Lish don't have to play the 5 as much.
You mentioned all those players and, of course, knowing their roles. That's such a key to being a good basketball team. But West Toll was always defense is going to be a staple. It's kind of interesting because we talked about this before your first game, and I think we talked about the offense and more points in that first game. You scored a game all of last year, a 66-41 season opening win over Minerva. What about your team offensively? Do you like this year, of course, with Katie Spring kind of leading the way?
Yeah, we did that. I thought about that afterwards, that we talked about that. And 62, we scored 62 twice last year. And, we're playing with a lot of confidence offensively. And that also starts on the defensive end. When we can get stops, when we can get easy buckets, then you shoot 5 or 6 layups, then you feel pretty good shooting the three, and you're confident in those things. So, ultimately, it starts on the defensive end, but, offensively, I like that we have lots of kids that can score. If Katie shot the ball really well on Friday night, but there's going to be nights where she doesn't shoot the ball well. But we have other kids that can shoot the ball and that can score, that can get to the rim. And I just like that we can spread that around, and we don't have to solely depend on one person to score every night for us.
Lindsay, I kind of wonder, with all the experience you have this year, does that cause the goals to change at all to what they have been in the past?
Absolutely. We always want to be realistic and set our goals high, but we also want to be realistic. And, 3 years ago, our goals were not the same as they are right now. Obviously our goal is to win the OCC. We didn't do that last year. We were game short. So we want to go undefeated and win the OCC for a small stepping stone. And then down the road in tournaments, we're looking to make a run and to make a push. And I think we can do that as the season goes on and get better. And obviously right now we're not at that point. You're at the beginning of the season. We have lots of place to improve. But I feel like we have the benchmark set to be able to make that run come tournament time.
All right, Lindsay, thank you, and good luck to you this season.
Thank you, and thanks for live streaming our games and broadcasting. We appreciate that.
Glad to do that, and we'll send it back out to Brandon Venter, who's at MRV Siding Supply.
Thanks, Matt. The girls' high school basketball preview is being brought to you by MRV Siding Supply here on WKLM. And don't forget MRV Siding Supply for Cedar Max insulated siding heading into the winter months, along with high-quality Provia doors and Viwinco windows that will save you money in the long term on your heating and cooling bills. It's all at MRV Siding Supply in Millersburg, Newark, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Visit them on the web at mrvsiding.com. Well, for the Highland Lady Hawks, a very successful season, as mentioned, coming to a close only due to the pandemic. They made it all the way to the state semifinals before that came to an end. So another regional title for the Lady Hawks. And, of course, they have a lot of unfinished business to take care of this year. And they only got rid of 3 seniors from last year's very talented team. So let's head on out to the Reese Center, where Matt Croy is now standing by with Coach Dave Schleybaugh.
Okay, Brandon, and alongside Dave Schleybaugh. And Dave, I realize it's sort of a painful going back and reflecting back to last season when you think about the great team you had last year. And, of course, only one loss against a very tough schedule going to the state semifinals last year, but not being allowed to continue. And how difficult of experience was that for you last year, for you as well as the team? And also, are you losing that kind of as motivation going into this year as well?
It's hard to put into words for especially our 3 seniors last year not getting to finish off kind of a childhood dream for them, and even our other kids. A lot of our kids in that locker room spent 8-10 years, preparing for that opportunity. But it's life. It's handling some adversity. It's you can't control everything, even though we would like to. And so our kids understand that. Doesn't mean it hurts any less. The kids that we do have back are excited. Hopefully they get to fulfill a season, at this point in time. Our kids have learned to cherish every day on the floor and their teammates and enjoy it while they got it.
And Dave, just for yourself, hit another milestone for you, along with the many milestones over your coaching career, but your 30th year as the helm and the head coach for the Highland Lady Hawks. It's hard to put that into words. It's probably unfair to ask you that question, but I'll ask it anyway. Just what it means to you to be the head coach for Highland for so much for as long as you have been, and the success you've been able to have.
Especially, I think I worry about a lot less things than I used to. I really tend to enjoy more of the opportunity I have more than ever. I enjoy our staff. I enjoy our players every day. I enjoy walking in the gym. I don't get caught up in a lot of the things I think I did as a first-year coach or something. So I'm the same way as I guess we're trying to take a day at a time, soak it all in, but we also want to try and reach our potential, and that's every year. And I got a chance to coach some new kids this year. We got to have some freshmen who are doing fantastic and some underclassmen that are continuing to come along. So new year, new faces, but ultimately the goals remain the same.
I want to ask you about this year's team. Obviously a special group once again as you had last year, but as you mentioned, only a couple of players that graduated from last year, but still a few new faces with some of the talented freshmen too. Can you talk about some of the names of the players we'll be seeing and hearing about this year for Highland basketball?
Well, my 5 seniors have been here forever. They've contributed, a lot of them as freshmen. Morgan Yoder, our point guard, and then our shooting guards, Bryn Mullet, Kylie Horn, and then our post play and Zoe Miller and Kelsey Swihart. They, as a senior class, they just give us such great balance. And then you sprinkle in some really good other players in our program. Our junior class is Ayla Miller and Tegan and Harris, and then Jenna Troyer, who tore ACL last year and has come back strong and ready to go. Abby Miller's our sophomore, and then 3 freshmen, and a couple of them are gonna play a lot. Ashley Mullet, which would be Bryn's sister, Mallory Stutzman, and Claudia Troyer. So I love our group. We're working hard. It seems like we've been practicing forever, so anxious to play that first game.
You mentioned practicing forever. I'm sure it's been harder than in past years to get on the basketball floor with the COVID-19 restrictions, but even with that, can you go back to even during the summer, what have you been able to do to be still compete and play basketball and get ready for the season?
We just didn't allow the COVID to stop us from having a really great summer. I mean, we continue to play. We traveled outside of state 4 different times for tournaments. We put our kids in good situations where they played some of the best AU teams in the country. We've just refused to just sit back and let it be an excuse. We have figured out a way to stay in the weight room and continue to play. So we're proud of our kids. We think we deserve a good shot at things this year.
You mentioned you like your group, and certainly you should, but you've coached a lot of great basketball teams over the year. What makes this year's group, last year's group, and this year's group so special?
I think it's one is having such great balance. I mean, we truly feel like we got 7-8 kids that could, on a given night, could probably score 15, 20 points. So it's an unselfish group. They just want to win. That's a special quality to have as well. So we're a lot of these kids I've been coaching since AU teams in 3rd, 4th grade, and we know them very well. But it's a special group because of their competitiveness more than anything. They truly enjoy winning.
Well, Dave, you look at this season, I realize the schedule is a very fluid thing, to say the least. But even with that, are you excited about the fact that some of the teams you'll be playing this year outside of your conference?
To start with, it was probably one of the better non-league schedules that we've ever put together. We've lost a game already, but we're hoping to get that back. But our non-league schedule is phenomenal. Hopefully the Classic continues. I think the team out of Arizona is going to be a top 1 or 2 team in the country. We love challenges. We love scheduling teams that should beat us. Our kids enjoy that. It helps us get better. So we're really excited about our schedule.
Dave, thanks for your time. Good luck to you this season.
Thank you.
That's the voice of the Highland head coach, Dave Schlabel. We'll send it back out one final time to Brandon Benter, who's at MRV Siding Supply.
Thanks, Matt. A reminder that WKLM plans to broadcast 66 Highland and West Holmes boys and girls basketball games this season. All of those can be heard on FM 95.3, WKLM-FM.com, and many can actually be viewed now on our Facebook Live. For Matt Croy, for Lindsey Snyder, and for Dave Schlabel, I'm Brandon Benter reporting from MRV Siding Supply. Thank you for joining us on the Girls High School Basketball Preview, once again sponsored by MRV Siding Supply.